number of confirmed deaths has passed 200. The governor has called a state of emergency.
There are hundreds and hundreds of bodies lining the streets.
Panic spread worldwide after a leaked report from the World Health Organization showed that the latest vaccination tests have failed.
With the bureaucrats out of power, we can finally take the necessary steps.
Los Angeles is now the latest city to be placed under martial law. All residents are required to report to their designated quarantine. Riots have continued for a third consecutive day, and winter rations are at an all-time low.
A group calling themselves the Fireflies have claimed responsibility for both attacks.
Their public charter calls for the return of all branches of government.
Demonstrations broke out following the execution of 6 more alleged Fireflies.
You can still rise with us. Remember, when you're lost in the darkness, look for the light.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Gosh, I feel dirty being so, I guess, hyped after such a morbid opening, but I'm gonna be honest with you, the Last of Us franchise is one of my favorites, so I'm super excited to talk about it today. I do want to go ahead and just apologize first and foremost. First, this is going to be the first, big video that I am actually editing. I purchased some equipment. I wanted to be able to kind of get my feet wet with it, and also to kind of give Morticia Noir a break, because I throw a lot at her, I'm gonna be honest. Love you, Tishy. But the second thing that I also want to apologize for, is spoilers. But I get the feeling that if you're watching this, you've probably played The Last of Us, and most likely played the second one as well. I won't be diving very much into the second one, if I even touch base on it at all, because the main reason that I'm here today is that I wanted to talk to you about the TV series that's going to be coming out. I want to say later this year. I'm not 100% certain on the dates, but I wanted to just kind of talk to you a little bit about what the TV show can actually bring that the video game didn't. The video game as a whole is absolutely fantastic. From being able to choose how you want to do combat, whether you want to be stealthy, whether you want to be up front and in somebody's face, whether you want to go melee, whether you want to use guns. Granted, you can't melee a clicker or bloater in the face, but you do have a lot of different options as to how you want to handle things. And the main thing that people remember about The Last of Us, or at least in my opinion, is the cutscenes. I mean, even from the very beginning, the main thing that people remember is Sarah dying. That was within the first 10 minutes of the game starting, maybe 15 if you're playing a little bit slower, kind of exploring, but it happens very, very soon, very quick after the action, and it's one of those things that lets you know that nobody is going to be safe in this game, and I think that's huge. If you do see some awkward cuts, again, it is my first time editing, I am still somewhat sick, so I'm just trying to make sure that I get everything placed exactly how I want it to be, because I want it to look nice for you guys. So let's go ahead and let's dive right in. Let's talk about the Last of Us timeline, and then we're going to go ahead and talk about the TV show. So, with that, The Last of Us begins, as we know, right as the pandemic, right before, technically, it begins to start. We have no idea what caused it. Even now, we don't have any idea what caused it. We have theories because it very much mimics a real-life fungal disease that takes over ants. I'm sure everybody already knows about that. And then it skips 20 years. And during that 20-year skip is when things start to get good. It was already good before, in my opinion, but now we're finally starting to meet characters. The first one being Tess, someone that we go on supply runs with, that we clearly trust quite a bit, And as we're doing this mission, we meet Marlene, learn a little bit about the Fireflies, or at least a little bit more. And unfortunately, as time goes on, we learn that they are not all they cracked up to be. But we also, at that point, meet the best part of the series, in my opinion, is Ellie, who is actually quite open about her past throughout the video game. She tells about who she has watched turn, what her life has been like, things of that nature. So a lot of Ellie's stuff has actually been covered, but the main, I guess you could say, anomaly in all of this is Joel. Because with Joel, we don't know anything that happened during that 20 years, except for the fact that he probably got into some stuff that he shouldn't have been, and I'll do a quick show of the clip just to show that his knowledge is a little bit more than what initially meets the eye. Roll that clip.
Easy. Holy shit. Are we gonna help him?
Put your seatbelt on, Ellie.
Well, what about the guy?
He ain't even hurt.
I mean, come on. That, to me, is one of the things that I would love to see covered most in this particular TV series. I don't care if it makes him look like a bad person, and it probably will, if I'm being 100% honest. There's a very good chance of that, but I want to know what happened during that 20-year period. I understand that he lost Sarah. I completely get that. I have a kid of my own. If I lost him, I would be a wreck. But I want to know exactly what he went through during that time period, because that is one thing that the games have not covered. They've covered a lot of Ellie's past, and they've talked about, in this TV series, covering even more of her past. But at this point, I don't know if I necessarily want that. I know a lot of people have not been excited about the people who are portraying these people, but first off, you're not going to have an exact look-alike, first of all. And second of all, who cares? It doesn't matter what they look like as long as they have the acting skills and as long as they're the right, I guess, quality for this person. It doesn't matter that Pedro can't grow a full face of hair like Joel can, as long as he can play the part. Because at the end of the day, guess what? They have makeup that they can make these people look almost identical to the video game characters if they want to. But I don't want that. I want a better story. The Last of Us story has been absolutely phenomenal, but I want to know what happened during that 20 years the most. I want to know what faction Joel ran with. I want to know how he and Tommy separated, how Tommy got involved with the Fireflies. If you don't remember off the cuff, Tommy is his brother, who we do later meet up with. There are just so many options that the TV show can go in regards to that. I would watch an entire TV show just based off those 20 years. But then we meet Ellie, as we've discussed, after the whole 20-year span. And while it definitely begins with a little bit of shaky terms.
Whoa. Come on now. Get on up.
Fuck away from her!
Let her go.
They do obviously begin to enjoy each other's company, and eventually Joel does make the choice to damn all of humanity because he wants to save Ellie, which again, I have a kid, I can't say that I wouldn't make the same choice. But what I would really like for this to happen, if they are going to be making this TV show, is the game, it happens very quickly. The only things that we get are the cutscenes in between. I hope they kind of expand on that, drag it out a little bit longer, and not make it like a lot of TV shows, when they do their first season, they kind of blow everything within the first 8 episodes, and then they have nowhere to go. The Last of Us deserves so much more than that. Because you could talk about Tess, you could talk about Joel, you could talk about Ellie, you could talk about Marlene. There are so many characters that they have the possibility to expand on and make this universe even bigger. And that's what I hope for the TV show. The Last of Us is an incredible game with an incredible storyline that honestly, it deserves so much more than what it gets. And it already gets quite a bit. I mean, it's getting a TV show. But my concern is we've all seen movies, especially ones about zombies, that haven't quite lived up to the expectation that we would have preferred or even enjoyed. So I also would like them, because I understand there's 3 years, and I know that I said I wouldn't touch on this too much, but it's kind of needed at this point. There's a 2 to 3 year time jump in between the ending of the first Last of Us and the second one. In between the first and the second, Joel takes Ellie away from the Fireflies because he learned that the vaccine that could possibly save all of humanity would in fact kill Ellie, and takes her back to Jackson where Tommy, his brother, is. I want to know what happens during that 2 to 3 year time skip. Because again, it's just, there's so much more that they can expand on, because at that point you have the relationship with Dina that you could grow on. Ellie at some point gets a girlfriend. So again, there's more relationships, and on top of that, there's a full town of people that you can focus on, like Tommy's wife, for example. She's the one that runs the entire town, and honestly, that's about all we know about her character. That, and she's a hard ass. So, if we're gonna be making this TV show, not that I believe the producers of this show are ever gonna run into this video, there are a lot of things that I think need to be addressed. The video game obviously has done a phenomenal job telling us exactly what we need to know. It's now time for a TV show to stand up and give us even more background information than what we already have. Why? Because it makes us care about the characters more. So for me personally, that's what I want to see at the end of the day. I want to see growth. I want to learn more about these characters. And ultimately, I just want to see where this universe can take us. All of the stuff that happens within this game is based off of real locations. So, one, getting to see places that maybe not other video games, movies, or TV shows have actually gone to can be super exciting. But I'm more interested in where it's going to take us emotionally. I want to see that relationship between Joel and Ellie begin to bloom. I would like to see more interactions with Tess before she ultimately passes. You meet a character named Bill. I would like to see him be completely cracked out of his mind. There are a lot of avenues that this show can go that I really hope that it decides to take. Because a lot of people are saying, oh, well, I'm not going to watch this because it's not the video game, and therefore it's probably going to suck. It might, who knows? But the thing is, what I'm going to point out is that there are successful video game to movie transitions, like the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Actually, pretty solid. And here's the thing, why would you want this to fail? If it's great, good. That means that, one, it could get more people into the fan base. The more people that get into this game, the better chance that they have of making a game that answers the questions that have been left on the table at the end of the second one. I'm not going to dive into that right now because that would be a whole other video. This is just a brief synopsis of what I want to happen from the TV show. But what I want to know is what you think. If there's anything that you believe that the video games didn't cover that you would have liked to have seen, 20-year time skip with Joel looking at you, or if there is something that you hope the TV show covers, let me know in the comments below. And then furthermore, your homework, because I need content to create. Let me know if there's any other video game that you would want me to talk about, whether it be in a situation like this where it was made from a video game to a movie, or a video game to a TV show. I'll have to possibly play it again, but I don't mind doing that just for you. Because at the end of the day, the more things that I have to talk about, the more content that I can create for you guys, and the more that you let me know, the better chance it's going to be of something that you'll actually enjoy. So, with that being said, as always, if you like the video, even if you didn't like the video, hit the like and subscribe button because it means the world to me. And until next time, everybody, peace out.